Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. I'm sorry if I'm yelling at you.
You're so peppy.
I always start just like right on there. Today we're going to talk about Mathias Brome.
That's good.
I'm so sorry for my American accent on that Swedish name, but that's what we're talking about today. We recently signed him to, it looks like the Grand Rapids Griffins. That's where he is on eliteprospects.com, so go there and check all those stats out because we love that website. Free agent signing, he's 25, he's 6 foot, at 183 pounds. So he, I think, could gain a little more muscle, a little more weight. But so far, from what we've seen, we're really impressed with him. And I'm actually surprised that we were able to get him.
Yeah.
He's on the older scale. He's not old, but he's on the older scale of like a prospect. So he's definitely a free agent signing. So we're kind of wondering where he's going to end up after, he plays a little bit in Grand Rapids. Yeah. So we're going to talk about him today, what we think about the signing, and that's basically it. So let's go.
So he's been playing in the SHL for the last 3 seasons, so that is the top of the Swedish hockey
You should
league.
Know this by now.
Yeah, you should know this. I feel like we say this every week.
We talk about Swedes all the time.
It's true. I'm loving it, really. Yeah. But in averaging, 52 games played a season, which is their regular season, he's missed 1 game in the last 3 seasons, and he's averaged 33 points. Now, that's an average. There's some seasons where it's almost like a point per game. So he's an obvious production guy. So the fact that he's starting in Grand Rapids in the AHL, he's going to take over that incredible elite skill and style over to the AHL, which hopefully it translates. We haven't seen too much issue in recent Euros with adjusting to the speed, and he's good at making passing plays and just going right in with that speed and everything. So I don't know if that ice adjustment's going to really be a problem.
Yeah, and we say that all the time because if you didn't know, there is a difference in the ice in the European leagues in the North American leagues.
Slower there.
But I find that if you're already a very talented hockey player, it's not going to be too much of an adjustment. It might be a game or two, but after that you're like, okay, this is what I'm adjusting to. We're going to just deal with it. And so I think that he's going to be in that league, and this also makes us wonder, okay, so he's a winger, left wing, right wing. He can be either, according to what we've seen. And so we're kind of wondering, what kind of moving pieces would this mean in Grand Rapids? Because we didn't have a ton of winger space in Grand Rapids at the pause of the 2019-2020 season. So with his elite ability, I feel like it's going to be pushing a lot of current wingers, if they're not signed or if they're on 1 more year, to be a little better than they were before.
Yep, I agree. And that's stuff that's all up in the air right now. There's a lot of, with these free agent signings, and as the draft gets closer and closer, you're going to see a lot more probably quieter transactions happening.
Isn't it exciting that there was a transaction, though?
I'm so excited.
When we got that news, I was like, something happened. NHL.
Joy. But all that to say, with him coming to the AHL, he's bringing a pretty good skill set already, which is going to bolster the team regardless of who's being moved. He's bringing, right now, a lot of good puck handling, which is something with, especially with the speed of the game, is critical. And he's going to create a lot of offensive opportunities with that.
Something that we've noticed, and you guys have probably noticed too, with the transactions that the Red Wings have been making, and with this one in particular, I feel like, of course, when you get a free agent, you're going to be very intentional about what kind of position, what kind of player you want him to be. So I think that they have recognized his maturity already. 3 seasons in the SHL is no joke, especially considering he started around 22 years old, which, I mean, that league is the top league, like Rachel was saying, of the Swedish leagues. So to have that kind of playing ability and that kind of hockey sense and maturity already, I think was very intentional for the Red Wings to be like, okay, this kid is not going to need a lot of hand-holding, basically, in the AHL. And I think that could... We'll talk about more of that later.
But that's the great thing about free agents, though, too. It's not like draft picks are fantastic, but those are long-term projects.
It's almost like they've been developed already.
Yeah, with free agents, it's like, okay, we're going to put him right here, and he's going to succeed here, hopefully. And that's the plan. Instead of going, we're going to put him here, and we're going to take 2 years to get him.
It's less of a project than the prospects you see coming in who are coming from maybe like the Quebec Junior League, Major Junior League, Junior Major League, Major Junior League, when they're coming from...
It's a major junior.
Where we've been talking about the 2019 draft picks and how, we've been saying most of them are projects still. They're still pretty young. He's kind of in the maturity of his hockey career already. So I think they're expecting him to go in, do what he does.
In hockey years, he's middle-aged.
Right. So another thing, besides the good puck handling, would be his speed. So he's a forward, so he's going to need to have that speed carried into the zone to get it deep to the net to then make plays and then make goals.
Right.
So
he I wouldn't say he crashes the net either, but in everything that we've watched from him, he's present, but that speed, it doesn't stutter as he gets closer to the goalie. He knows he's going to make his play, and that's where the puck handling comes in with that speed too, where he knows how much room he needs to make something happen. So that was really cool to see just how quickly he would rush in, and even on shootouts too. That's always something where you can see a lot of a player, if they're one-on-one, you see some interesting things about their style. His is just right in there, and that's it's not very common.
Yeah,
these
and that
days,
might change because I know shootouts players try a lot of different things.
Yeah, but the slow side to side thing is not my favorite.
I'm like, get to the net.
Yes, just score, please.
And in all of that too, the use of his body was very apparent. The legs, we've noticed a lot in like Evgeny Svechnikov and the Russian skaters. They use a lot of their legs to
stretch out that
to
wide
be a lot
stance.
of the defense against and the puck protection, which is I think very important. And we noticed that Mathias also did that as well.
That's a lot of quad strength too, and endurance, because that is a ton of pressure on your legs. So the fact that he can do that, and just like Svechnikov, where he can do that and still have the stamina, I think that's going to be a huge bonus in Grand Rapids for that.
Yeah, and then of course the opportunistic and decisive nature. He plays very quick. So what he does is very like, I'm going to do this, and then he does it. And it's not a lot of hesitation, which is nice to see, because I think oftentimes you've been in a crowd where it's like, shoot the puck, where it's like, okay, stop telling them how to do the job.
Obviously knows better.
But he's very decisive, he's very opportunistic, so he's gonna, which shows in the points I think that he has been getting, because if you're opportunistic and you're decisive in your action, you're going to shoot at the net a lot more.
And that's to say too, along with opportunistic, and he has proven consistency in these last 3 seasons. Obviously the 33 points average a season in the SHL does speak to that. So that's something I'm going to be really interested to see how that translates to North American play. And there is a little bit difference in the leagues and the league rules and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to be really, really excited to see if he can continue on that trajectory of being a point producer, because I think easily he could be a top, maybe second line to start and then work his way up very easily. And he's going to be a great, veteran coming in to help teach these other guys too, because I feel like he's already got a lot of that, mentality of just really, like you said, the opportunistic go-getter.
Yeah, and so one of the questions would be, what would he add to Grand Rapids, which Rachel's already said, probably that leadership, that veteran mindset, the idea that he's played in Sweden in hockey his whole life, which is very encouraging as well. But I also think that he's going to add just that decisive attitude, as well as just the ability for the coaches to say, we need you to do this, and he'll be able to do it. So I'm pretty excited about this signing, and I think that it's going to be really good. I do think, let's hear what you think first. What's the NHL possibility for him? Because of course, when you're signing to an AHL contract, which is like the second to highest league in North America, and you're coming from the highest league in Sweden, you're kind of like, okay. But I think that's from... But I think that's coming to like the, I could get here, which I think that's exciting. What do you think about his ability for the NHL?
He signed for 1 year, so that tells me they're going to put him on a trial, basically. So when you bring a skater like that over to North America, you don't want to waste their time, because they're uprooting their entire life to come over to the States in order to do this. That's something obviously that happens in negotiation, but I think this whole season is going to be used to see how he adjusts, where he fits, because the Red Wings in the next season or two are going to go through some massive line changes, massive transactions, I think, especially as these younger prospects are starting to get ready. You're going to
probably unloading some guys who haven't been
you're
working.
You're going to see a ton of change. Contracts are expiring, and we're going to be finally getting rid of some long-term IR things that we've been dealing with. So I think they're kind of buying their time to let that change, see how he adapts, and I think, he could be, if he does well, in line for a promotion, but of course it depends entirely on how he performs this season and what happens contractually.
And it could be with another team. I mean, if he does get NHL and it's not with us, it could be with someone else. Because I think he does have that ability. I don't think that it's a lack of that, but I think that we have a pretty saturated pool coming up, and I think that can sometimes keep other guys from getting to the NHL.
It's a good motivator though too for I think the prospects. You see this guy coming over who has already kind of been through the ringer, so to speak, and it's motivation for them, and you will see who uses it as motivation and who uses it to kind of regress. So I think that's going to be huge too for the team to really monitor and see which guys are actually wanting to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, so I think that he has a pretty good chance. He could do, it's not for a lack of ability. He could do NHL. It's just a matter of if someone picks him up. Or if the Wings end up getting him up there. But I do think it's a very intentional signing, and I think that he has incredible promise just from what we've seen. So if you haven't watched any highlights on Mathias Brome,
It's not Brome.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive my pronunciation.
We'll work on our Swedish before the season starts again.
Yeah, you should watch any highlights that you can find on YouTube. It's super great. I love that they have those on there, and it's just really helpful for like any kind of
We can't make it to Sweden yet.
Oh, that'd be so great. But anyway,
let us know. Away, let us know.
Let us know in the comments if you like the signing, what you think about the signing, what you think it means for the Red Wings and the Griffins, and kind of your thoughts on it. That'd be great. So let us know, and thank you so much for watching, and we hope you are all doing well and staying safe. Have a good day.